Does your pantry ever drive you absolutely bananas? No pun intended. Actually, that worked out really well because you can't find the things that you have because it's a jumbled mess. If that's you, today's video is for you. If you're new, my name is Shannon. I'm host of the Paring Down podcast, and I have this YouTube channel dedicated to helping you live a more decluttered and organized life, not for the sake of having a perfectly curated house, but because I want you to have less stress in your life. And I want you to have time for what actually matters. So if that's you, don't forget to hit subscribe on this video, and I'd love for you to check out all the other subjects that I cover. Also, sorry for the glare on my glasses today. I really didn't feel like putting in contacts, so you're gonna have to bear with me. All right, let's really get into it. So, you know that moment when you open your pantry and you just stare because you can't find the peanut butter, or you realize you've bought another bag of rice even though you already had two. If your pantry feels like a game of hide and seek, you are definitely not alone. Pantries really are one of the hardest spaces to keep organized because they're constantly in use. So groceries, they go in and out every day, and before you know it, it just turns into a jumble of snacks and expired cans and mystery items that you bought for a random recipe a year ago. So today I'm sharing 5 simple solutions to keep your pantry decluttered and organized without it turning into a full-time job. These are the systems that actually stick, even for busy families. But before we dive in, I'd be remiss not to point out that a decluttered pantry will make all of these systems much easier. We live in a world where shopping in bulk is the norm, and while I want you to get those cost savings, it's actually not always black and white that bulk means savings. So be sure to check out the episode that I did that includes a deep dive into when buying in bulk is actually worth it financially based on things like your geographical location, overhead costs, and more. I'll have that linked in the description of this video, along with another one called The Pitfall of Too Much Backstock. I also want to point out that I did a deep dive, step-by-step declutter your kitchen video. If you need to do that initial declutter of your pantry, that is a really good one to watch. Today is more so about the strategies for keeping your pantry functional and organized, while that other one is about that first initial big declutter. So that'll be in the description of this video too. But let's dive into these 5 solutions to keep the pantry clutter at bay. The first solution is to organize your pantry either by food category or by meal category. I'm not going to tell you which one is better, but we need to choose one. So food categories are things like baking, snacks, carbs, cans, etc. Meal categories are things like breakfast stuff, lunch stuff, side dish ingredients, dessert ingredients, etc. I've noticed that pantries often get confusing when these 2 organizational strategies are combined. Because maybe you put all of your noodle boxes next to the tortillas, so naturally you look there for your rice because that's a carb too. You don't see it, so you go buy more without realizing that a previous version of yourself decided to put the rice next to the canned beans, since those are things you often use as side dishes. So you've combined food category, like carbs, and a meal category, like side dish, and therefore you cannot keep track of what is in there. So I don't think there's a better or worse for which organizational method you should choose, but it's just really important to choose one. Personally, for me, I have found that I prefer food categories, but I do know other people that really like to do meal categories. The point is that your organization is reliable and functional. Meal categories might work better if you have a large walk-in pantry, so you can grab everything you usually need for regular lunch dishes all in one place instead of going to different corners trying to find the bread and compile the peanut butter and the pretzels and the applesauce pouches, right? You can have a lunch category where all of those things just naturally live together. We have a cupboard type pantry. This is actually our pantry right here behind me. So things aren't spread out as easily. So I do food categories, like I said, but just consider your own space and habits and choose the method that works best for you. The second solution is to set physical limits for each category. I talk about physical limits a lot because they matter and they work. Clutter is when we let things spill beyond their physical boundaries. So if you have a snack basket, that basket is your limit. If you have 3 shelves for pantry goods, those shelves are your limit. And once that's full, it's your signal to stop buying more or to use up what you already have. This is not about restriction, it's just about clarity. When everything has a defined home and a natural stopping point, you don't need to wonder if you're overbuying. The space answers that question for you. And here's the best part. Limits create built-in maintenance. you'll automatically have to tidy up or declutter as you go instead of waiting until it's overwhelming. So in my life, it's tempting to buy a bag of whatever my kids think sounds like a good snack when we're at the store, when I brave taking them to the store. But I force myself and my kids to remember that if the snack shelf is already full, we need to eat what we already have before we try something new. So it helps keep things in order as we make decisions at the store. The third solution is to make it easy to see what you have. This one change will save you so much money and prevent so much waste. So if you can't see it, you will forget about it. And I am not a proponent for decanting into clear containers personally, so this really isn't about that. It's just about arranging your pantry so things aren't stacked or lined up with some things blocking the others. And this piggybacks off of solution number 2 because part of your physical boundary isn't just the shelves, it's the ability to see everything clearly on the shelves without stuffing everything in. Now, we do not need to overcomplicate it with a fancy labeling system unless you truly enjoy that, but labeling is definitely helpful, especially if you are prone to just shoving things in when you're in a rush. Sometimes a simple sticky note or like masking tape as a label works great just to get yourself in the habit of putting things where they belong and not just shoving things in wherever they fit. The goal is not to make your pantry look like a magazine. The goal is to make it functional enough that you know exactly what you have at a glance. This simple habit helps when you're doing a quick check before you go grocery shopping, adding to your list, right? You can just open your pantry and scan. You'll instantly see what needs to be restocked and what doesn't, which cuts down on waste drastically. The fourth solution might be my favorite, and it's a use first bin. This is where you put items that need to be eaten soon, like open bags of snacks or half-used ingredients or canned goods that are close to their expiration dates. Place this bin at eye level so it's the first thing you see when you open your pantry. It's a small shift, but it makes a huge difference when it comes to reducing food waste and keeping things rotating. So every time you plan meals or pack lunches, start by checking that bin first. And if you're a parent, this is also a great way to let kids know which snacks are fair game, so there's no more digging through the entire pantry to try and find something that's open. You can just add something into the bin as you notice the expiration dates, or you want to finish one thing before opening another bag of something. So you just kind of have to be aware and toss them in there as it works, but it's a great way to communicate with your family. So of course you talk about the bin so they know what it is before you put it in the shelf, but then you also have the bin itself that says something to your family without you having to. They know that this is a space they can go to eat something that needs to get eaten. All right, and the fifth solution is to build a simple reset routine. Once your pantry is organized, it is not just a set it and forget it situation. Life changes, kids' snacks changes, your cooking habits change. So choose one small moment each week, like maybe before you do your grocery shopping, to give your pantry a quick reset. I do this when I am making my grocery list. This does not need to take more than like 5 minutes. Just check what's low, toss anything that's expired, do a quick tidy, put things in your use first bin. And by doing this regularly, your pantry just never gets out of control again. And like I mentioned, this is way less overwhelming if your pantry is significantly decluttered and organized, right? It's just a quick scan, a few label checks, a quick straightening up. So doing this every week would feel overwhelming if your pantry is packed full and disorganized. But when you do this with an already decluttered pantry, you're gonna spend a lot less time organizing all the time, less money rebuying things you already have, and you'll actually enjoy opening your pantry door. It feels very refreshing. All right, let's do a quick recap. Number 1, choose a clear organization pattern, either by food category or by meal category. 2, set clear limits within physical boundaries. 3, make inventory easy to see. 4, use a use first bin. And number 5, build a weekly reset routine. Decluttering your pantry is not about perfection for an aesthetic home interior. It is about making it easy to find what you need when you need it. When your pantry is simplified, your whole kitchen feels a lot lighter. So if you found this to be helpful, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who might be ready for an easier, calmer kitchen too. And don't forget to check out the video about how to declutter your kitchen step by step, and the episodes of the Paring Down podcast that I mentioned about buying in bulk and the pitfall of too much backstock. So all of those are linked in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.